Hi there, my name is Kim and I work for Smart, and I just want to walk you through a quick introduction to Smart Notebook desktop software. So Smart Notebook desktop software is actually part of our Smart Learning Suite, and you can use Smart Notebook to help you deliver engaging lessons and interactive content. You can create formative assessments. You can also even use our cloud version to create collaborative workspaces, but we're going to talk about that in another video. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now I'm on a Windows machine. So I'm going to locate Smart Notebook, and you can see it's on my computer, it's in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And once I do, that's going to load, and first thing I want to do is sign in to my software. So I want to make sure that that's done right away. So in the upper left-hand corner, you'll be able to see that you have an account drop-down menu, and that's where you're going to want to sign in. When you choose to sign in, it'll actually take you to a browser, and you can sign in either with your Google credentials or your Microsoft credentials. Now, because I use Google, it's already recognized me here, and I am good to go. So I'm going to say okay. One other thing I'll point out is once you are signed in and you go back to your account drop-down menu, you can see that you have a profile created, and that profile will be where you can change the name of your class, essentially. So right now it's set to Kim Perillo. And then I also can see my class ID number, and that's how you can have students or guests join your lesson or lesson activities in the future. Okay. Because this is a quick intro to Smart Notebook, I'm just going to go over a couple things. I'm going to go over the menu bar here, and then I'm going to quickly go over the toolbar, and of course, introduction to the side tab area. So first thing I'm going to do is talk to you about the menu bar. So the menu bar is going to be these items here, and that's where you can access any one of those commands needed within that menu, okay? And then second, we are going to just move my tools here a little bit. I'm going to point out the different tools here in the toolbar. So you've got your first section here, and that's going to be your action tools. You've got your middle section here, and that is going to be your add-on tools. And then of course, the third section here, these are going to be any tools that you need to teach with. So maybe you're creating a graphic organizer, or maybe you're wanting to pick up a calligraphy pen or something like that, an eraser. That's where all of those will live. So okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is customizing your toolbar. So over on the right-hand side, you have an icon that if you hover over the icon, it will actually tell you the name of the tool. And you can actually do that with any of your tools. You can see there's the eraser, these are the lines, this is my text tool, and so forth. But I'm going to go ahead and choose my Customize Toolbar tool, and that will allow for me to customize my toolbar with these three sections of tools. So when I click on my action tools, I can drag and drop any of these tools up to my toolbar. So two of them that I think would be really helpful is going to be Clear Ink and Clear Page. So I'm going to go ahead, I've noticed I've already added Clear Ink. Let me go ahead and drag and drop Clear Page. And all you have to do is left click on a tool and drag it, and then release the click. Okay, and you can do that with any of these here, but those are the two that I would highly recommend, because when you are using Smart Notebook for digital note taking, clearing the ink easily and clearing the page easily is going to be very good for tools for you to have access to right away. And then of course here down at the bottom, if you ever want to go back to the default toolbar, you have some options here. You can definitely restore the default toolbar, and then if you change any of the tool properties, you can restore it here. All right, so with that being said, let's quickly go over the side tab area. Keep in mind the side tab area can go on your left-hand side by default, or if you click on the double arrows, it can go on your right-hand side. So depending on what you prefer, I usually keep mine over on the left-hand side. And the same thing, you'll see the double arrows in the toolbar. You can move the toolbar down to the bottom of the screen, especially if you've got some shorter students and little kids that you're teaching. That might be useful or helpful, or even for you if you prefer it that way. So what I'd like for us to do is just quickly look at the side tabs here. If you click on any of these tabs, it will open up the command of what those tabs can do. Okay, and so today what we're going to do is just focus on adding pages. So if I want to add a page to my file, I can just click on the Add Page tool in my Actions panel, and I can quickly add pages as needed. Now, when I'm ready to add content to my page, it can be just as easy as clicking on a tool and maybe writing something, right? I'm on my computer, so it's not as easy to write with ink, but I can certainly erase that. Or if I simply want to just start typing, I just click somewhere on my page and I can start typing. And you can see that it makes a text box automatically, and I can click off of that, or I can click onto it to move it around. Anytime you have an object on your page, it's going to, when you select it or click on it, it's going to create a blue box around that object. And you have a couple options you can do. You can rotate the object, okay, which is kind of fun, or you can, sorry, let's get that back. Or you can, in the bottom right-hand corner, you can resize that object. Or of course, in the drop-down menu, you're gonna have lots of commands here that you can use. You can clone the object, which is kind of fun, and sometimes that's needed. But there's lots of commands there that you can use. Cut, copy, paste, and delete is always a typical commands that you see in other applications, but you got some other options here too that we will eventually talk about. But again, this is just a quick little intro to getting you started. Now, if I click on something and I want to delete it, you have a red X in your Actions panel toolbar, or you have a drop-down menu and you can actually click on delete. There you go. So let's go ahead and delete those two items. And what I'm going to show you very quickly as our first creation piece is going to be our a graphic organizer. So I'm going to go into my shapes tool and notice that I have various shapes here. Okay, so I'm going to actually, it defaults to my first shape, which is my circle. And I'm just going to click on my page and drag my mouse and make a circle. Anytime you're done with a tool, you want to make sure you click on your cursor or your mouse. Here in Smart Notebook, they call it the select tool. And I want to click on the outline of my circle in order to enlarge it the way I want. Okay, so I'm going to make a quick Venn diagram. So I'm going to click on my circle, click on the drop-down menu, and I'm actually going to clone that circle. And what that does, it makes the exact size shape and, of that circle, my original circle. It makes a duplicate of it, essentially. Okay, so I'm good there. Now, one thing you notice when you're creating something on a Smart Notebook page, you may want to be able to see the entire page instead of just being able to scroll down. So that's where I use my View Screens tool. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to change it. Right now it defaults to page width. I'm going to change it to entire page. And then that way I can see all of the content that lives on my page all at once and all in one view, really. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to left click and drag over my two circles. And what I'm wanting them to, what I want to do is actually group these two circles together so they become one object. So I'm going to click the drop down menu, and I'm going to go ahead, scroll down to group, and I'm going to group them. And so now they're one object, and I can resize it all with one command, okay, which is really nice. Okay, so the next thing I might want to do is maybe add some content. So maybe I want to add, so these are going to be, let's do, sorry, farm animals over here. And then maybe pets over here. And pets actually is going to go in the middle. and then maybe we see zoo animals over here. So whatever content you would like to use or whatever text you'd like to use for your Venn diagram is very useful. Now this is going to be your basic Venn diagram that we just quickly made in just less than a minute or so in order to create basically a platform for your students to add content to. Now, if you're wanting to add maybe some answer choices, you could do that, and maybe you could just click down here at the bottom and say, okay, maybe a horse is going to be an option, or maybe a cow is going to be another option. And you could have your options down here at the bottom. They're all interactive and movable as long as you have them in separate text boxes. Or what you could do is go over to your side tab area, click on the second tab down, and that's going to be your gallery. So you can do a search for horse, and you could actually find, if we go into the pictures category here, maybe you're going to use this as one of your answer choices, okay? You might want to make some room here. The page will always adjust to allow for you to fit content to that. But maybe you want to adjust, again, the size of some of these. So you can always move them around the page if you need to. Now, one thing before we're going to finish here, one thing I want to mention is once you have your template in place, you want to make sure that nobody deletes or messes with the items here. So I don't really want anyone to change or resize my Venn diagram, and I don't want them to change or resize my words here. So I'm going to select all of these at once, except for my answers, and I'm going to choose the drop-down menu, and I'm going to choose lock, but allow to, I'm sorry, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do lock in place. So when I do lock in place, that means these are movable, but these are not. Okay, so anyway, that's how we would quickly create a fun little Venn diagram that's simple and easy to use. And we will continue on in our next series on how to create a little bit more interactive game-based learning activities within Smart Notebook. So see you next time. Thank you.